Welcome back. Now, after former IPL Commissioner Lalit Modi refused to accept the summons again, now the city police is planning to send a special team to Mumbai to interrogate Lalit Modi and 6 others involved in funds misappropriation case. People who failed to turn up during the interrogations in Chennai will also be questioned. The Chennai City Police have confirmed that Lalit Modi is not in the country and that they have not been able to contact him. But they will be hoping to seek at least an arrest warrant for Lalit Modi after this interrogation of all those involved. And MPs from Telangana region raised the slogans disrupting the proceedings of the lower house of the parliament. Lok Sabha had to be adjourned twice as MPs stormed the well of the house. Meanwhile, normal life remained disturbed in Telangana region of Andhra Pradesh today on the second day of the 48-hour bandh, demanding introduction of a bill for separate statehood during this session.
क्यों ये दो साथी आज आकर के वेल के अंदर खड़े हैं? मैं कहना चाहती हूँ आपसे, ये इसलिए खड़े हैं क्योंकि तेलंगाना रीजन में सब कुछ ठप पड़ा है। 4 लाख एम्प्लॉइज, 4 लाख सरकारी कर्मचारी पेन डाउन स्ट्राइक में है तेलंगाना रीजन में। सारे के सारे छात्र, छात्राएं, कॉलेज, स्कूल, यूनिवर्सिटीज बंद पड़ी हैं। सारी अदालतें आज तेलंगाना में बंद पड़ी हैं क्योंकि वकील सारे हड़ताल पर हैं।
Well, the men acquitted in the Godhra case finally returned home after 9 long years. Tuesday's verdict in the Godhra riots case has spelled freedom for 63 people who were acquitted for lack of evidence. Late last night, 46 of them, innocent men who have lost out on 9 years with their families and loved ones, were released from the Godhra police station after completing legalities. A special court in Gujarat yesterday ruled that the fire in Sabarmati Express in 2002, which killed over 59 people, mainly car sevaks, was a conspiracy and not an accident.
मुझे जन्नत मिल गई, जेल से बाहर आया तो मुझे जन्नत मिल गई।
अदालत के फैसले से खुश हैं?
मैं जहन्नम में था, अभी जन्नत में हूँ।
अभी तक नहीं की।
चाचा इधर आ जाओ।
एक खत भी नहीं लिखा मैं।
हमने खानो खा रहे अपने।
इधर आके जेल में रहता होगा तो कोई दिक्कत नहीं, वो लोग मर जाएंगे।
Well, in the latest from the Malkangiri kidnapping case, we are getting reports that the Maoists have decided to not allow the release of the collector, Vinil Krishna. According to fresh reports, the Maoists have raised new demands and have postponed the time of release to 6 p.m. tomorrow. Now, 7 days after kidnapping the collector and the junior engineer Pabitra Maji, the Maoists released Maji. There were reports circulating that even the collector might be released soon. In more national news, the top clergy of Darul Uloom Deoband has today decided that Ghulam Mohammad Vastanvi will stay as the Vice Chancellor of the seminary. The Governing Council has set up a 4-member panel to probe charges against the rector. Now, Vastanvi has stirred a controversy by praising Gujarat Chief Minister Narendra Modi. And in some international news now, defiant Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi vowed to fight to his last drop of blood. It was an all-out call for his supporters to strike back against the protesters, signaling an escalation of the crackdown. On the streets of Tripoli and Benghazi, there was mayhem, while shooting, bodies littering the streets and bursts of gunfire heard throughout the city. International alarm rose over the crisis. Meanwhile, many army units have sided with the protesters and a number of ambassadors abroad have defected. Meanwhile, India's Foreign Secretary Nirupama Rao has said that arrangements for air and sea evacuations are being finalized.
We're making arrangements for passenger ships, and we've been able to locate one such ship which can carry about 1,000 passengers. And what we intend to do is to use this ship as a ferry that can pick up passengers from Libya and take them to the nearest safe point in a neighboring country from where they can be evacuated. Similarly, we would try and locate at least one more ship to do the same sort of task, apart from, of course, the aircraft that we will deploy for evacuation.
And while shifting focus in the run-up to the budget, we have been speaking to industry heads to get a sense of what they are demanding from the Finance Minister. I caught up with the MD of Apollo Hospitals, Mrs. Preeta Reddy, to get a sense of what the healthcare segment's wish list is heading into the budget 2011-2012. Well, as the budget day nears, there's a growing sense of anticipation about what really to expect come this Monday. And we have been talking to a lot of industry captains to get a sense of what they have in mind, what they are expecting from Finance Minister Pranab Mukherjee. And today, to dwell on that one question from the perspective of the healthcare segment, we're joined by Mrs. Reddy. She's the Managing Director of Apollo Hospitals.
See, India today should actually compare ourselves with China. You know, we make this huge mistake about comparing ourselves with the US and the UK. But if you look at China, they did a few things right. They let the industry flourish. You know, they built out facilities both in the government and in the public sector. Then they created access for people. You know, they made health insurance attractive and mandatory. So, you know, people could actually have access into hospitals wherever they were available. And then they encourage hospitals in the remote locations and the smaller regions. So they did that. But the most important is the manpower. You know, they encouraged education, training and things like that, because today in India, even if we find the resources and the finances to build out a hospital, if we equip it with the best equipment possible, we still don't have manpower to man these hospitals.
So just a final word right now, if we can summarize in perhaps 3 highlight points, if you could send a message right now to Pranab Mukherjee, what would those 3 points be?
I would say, please give it priority sector and, you know, give us access to funds so that we can really build out phenomenal infrastructure. Please encourage people, find ways and means to make health insurance mandatory so that they can use this infrastructure. Allow public and private sector to work together in the area of education and skill development and training, because we need to man our facilities for the future.
Well, with that, let's also take a look at how gold and silver prices were doing today. And the fierce opener Sehwag, feared by many a bowling lineups, may not be scared of slamming sixes when on 98, but he definitely seems to be scared of the number 8. We'll tell you why on the other side.